East Asian and Siberian. The ancient movements of people from Africa to East Asia mark a significant chapter in human history that shaped the cultural and genomic diversity across many regions. Let's delve into the overview of these migrations and explore the major historical influences on culture and genomics in Northeast Asia, Siberia, Southeast Asia, and Oceania, including reference to Aboriginals, Papuans, and Polynesians. The earliest human migrations out of Africa began around 70,000 to 100,000 years ago, as anatomically modern humans expanded across the globe. Crossing vast desert regions, these early humans ventured into the Arabian Peninsula. They also eventually reached the lands of Southeast Asia, via the land bridge known as Sundaland that connected the Southeast Asian archipelago during glacial periods. Northeast Asia, comprising present-day China, Korea, and Japan, witnessed a complex intertwining of cultures and genetic influences. The initial migrations into this region likely occurred through Siberia, with groups of early humans traversing the vast expanse known as the Eurasian steppe. Over time, these populations intermingled with indigenous groups, resulting in the formation of distinct ethnicities and cultural traditions. Siberia, characterized by its harsh climate and vast geographical expanse, played a crucial role in shaping the movements of peoples across the region. The migration patterns varied across time periods. For instance, the Uralic and Altaic-speaking peoples occupied the northern reaches of Siberia, while Turkic-speaking groups moved further south. These migratory movements impacted the genetic makeup and cultural practices of the indigenous Siberian populations. Southeast Asia presents a rich tapestry of cultural diversity, with influences from various ancient migrations. Austronesian-speaking populations originating in Taiwan around 4,000 to 5,000 years ago spread across the Philippine archipelago and further into Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Pacific Islands. They brought with them agricultural practices, seafaring skills, and contributed to the diverse cultural mosaic of the region. Oceania encompasses a vast area, including the diverse islands of Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia. The migrations in this region were characterized by remarkable seafaring skills that facilitated the settlement of remote and scattered islands across the Pacific Ocean. The Aboriginals of Australia and the Papuans of New Guinea, which represent some of the world's oldest continuous civilizations, possess distinct cultures and genetic lineages that trace back tens of thousands of years. Polynesians, the seafaring people with origins in Southeast Asia, eventually expanded eastward into the Pacific, settling remote archipelagos such as Hawaii, Tahiti, Easter Island, and New Zealand. These migrations brought about the blending of Southeast Asian and Melanesian genetic and cultural elements, creating a unique Polynesian identity. Overall, the ancient movements of people from Africa to East Asia, including Northeast Asia, Siberia, Southeast Asia, and Oceania, have led to a fascinating mix of cultures, traditions, and genetic diversity. Generations of human migrations, interactions, and adaptations have shaped the vibrant tapestry of these regions, leaving a lasting impact on the societies that have flourished there. Summary origins. Ideal for those wanting a concise and effective estimate, the results obtained with this run are intended to capture your main genetic clusters. Africa. 100%. Senegambian. 50%. The Senegambian zone is home to various Senegambian ethnic groups including Wolof, Pearl, Warfula, Tukulur, or Tukulur, Manding, Sirer, or Sirer, Sonink, Susu, or Soso, Jula, Nalu, Baga, Bifata, Binik, and Baisari. Bantu Eastern African, 25%. The Eastern Bantu are the Bantu-speaking peoples of Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, most notably represented by the Luya. Yoruban. 25%. The Yoruba people are a West African ethnic group who mainly inhabit parts of Nigeria, Benin, and Togo. The areas of these countries, primarily inhabited by the Yoruba, are often collectively referred to as Yorubaland. In-depth origins. Designed to emphasize your unique inheritance, the results obtained with this run aim to capture even the subtlest traces of your autosomal composition. Africa, 96.5%. Yoruban, 66.5%. Bantu South African, 11%. Senegambian, 9.5%. Bantu Eastern African, 6.5%. Khoisan Hunter-Gatherer, 1.5%. Central African, 1%. Northern African, 0.5%. Europe, 1%. Northern European, 0.5%. Southern European, 0.5%. Central Asia, 1%. Tajikistan Tajik, 1%. Northeast Asia, 0.5%. Mongolia Mongol, 0.5%. Southeast Asia, 0.5%. Indonesia Javanese, 0.5%. Middle East, 0.5%. Levantine, 0.5%. Bantu South African. The Bantu South Africans are the Bantu-speaking populations living in the South African Republic and surrounding areas. Khoisan Hunter-Gatherer. The Khoisan are the descendants of hunter-gatherers indigenous to southern Africa, especially Namibia and Botswana. Central African. Central Africans are mainly the Pygmy peoples of the Central African Republic and northern Congo. Tajikistan Tajik. Tajiks are an Iranian ethnic group native to Central Asia, living primarily in Afghanistan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. They speak varieties of Persian, a Western Iranian language. In Tajikistan, since the 1939 Soviet census, its small Pamari and Yagnobi ethnic groups are included as Tajiks. Indonesia Javanese. The Javanese are an Austronesian ethnic group native to the central and eastern part of the Indonesian island of Java. The Javanese, as the largest ethnic group in the region, have dominated the historical, social, and political landscape in the past as well as in modern Indonesia and Southeast Asia. Levantine. The Levantines are the inhabitants of the lands adjacent to the Mediterranean coast of the Middle East, in particular Syrians and Lebanese. Mongolia Mongol. The Mongols are an East Asian ethnic group native to Mongolia, Inner Mongolia in China, and the Buryatia Republic of the Russian Federation. The Mongols are the principal member of the large family of Mongolic peoples. The Oirats in Western Mongolia, as well as the Buryats and Kalmyks of Russia, are classified either as distinct ethno-linguistic groups or subgroups of Mongols. The ancestors of the modern-day Mongols are referred to as Proto-Mongols. Northern African. Northern Africans are the inhabitants of African nations bordering the Mediterranean, in particular, the Central Western Berber peoples. Northern European. Northern Europeans are mainly the inhabitants of Scandinavia. This includes Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Iceland. Southern European. Southern Europeans are mainly the inhabitants of the Mediterranean basin of Europe. This includes central southern Italy, the southern Balkans. Less directly northern Italy, Iberia, and occasionally also southern France and the Balkans. Pinpoint. The results obtained with this run are intended to emphasize not only your main genetic clusters, but also a detailed estimate of the minor components, albeit with greater degree of approximation than the in-depth run. Africa 95%, Yoruban 71%, Bantu South African 14%, Senegambian 4%, Bantu Eastern African 3%, Khoisan hunter-gatherer 3%, Central Asia 2%, Kazakhstan Kazakh 1%, Uzbekistan Uzbek 1%, Europe 1%, Western European 1%, Southeast Asia 1%, Indonesia Sunda 1%, Northeast Asia 1%, Siberia Selkup 1%. Indonesia Sunda. The Sunda people are an indigenous ethnic group native to the western region of Java Island in Indonesia, primarily West Java. They speak the Sundanese language, which is part of the Austronesian languages. The Sundanese are of Austronesian origins and are thought to have originated in Taiwan. They migrated through the Philippines and reached Java between 1500 BC and 1000 BC. Kazakhstan Kazakh. The Kazakhs are a Turkic people native to Central Asia and Eastern Europe, mainly Kazakhstan, but also parts of northern Uzbekistan and the border regions of Russia, as well as northwestern China, specifically Ili Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture, and western Mongolia, Bayanalgai Province. The Kazakhs arose from the merging of the medieval Turkic and Mongol tribes. Siberia Selkup. The Selkup are a Samoyedic-speaking Uralic ethnic group native to Siberia. They live in the northern parts of Tomsk Oblast, Krasnoyarsk Krai and Tyumen Oblast, with Yamelonenets Autonomous Okrug. The Uzbeks are a Turkic ethnic group native to the wider Central Asian region, being among the largest Turkic ethnic group in the area. They comprise the majority population of Uzbekistan, next to Kazakh and Karakalpak minorities, and are also found as a minority group in Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Russia, and China. Before the 5th century, what is today's Uzbekistan was part of Sogdia, Khwarezm, Bactria mainly inhabited by Sogdians, Bactrians, and Khwarezmians, all Indo-Iranian peoples. It was part of the Achaemenid Empire in the 6th to 4th centuries BC and, by the 3rd century CE, part of Sasanian Empire. Western Europeans are the inhabitants of continental Western Europe. This includes Western Germany, Belgium, the southern Netherlands, large parts of France, especially central north, German and French-speaking Switzerland and large parts of Austria. This Native American test analyzes 2,581 SNPs Native American, Amerindian, Amerind, indigenous peoples of the Americas. The movement of people into the Americas, across Beringia, happened around 20,000 to 14,000 years ago. The first large influx of Europeans and Africans occurred within the last 500 years. There are two main groups that contributed to this peopling of the Americas, both from Siberia, deriving from before the last glacial maximum, 36,000 to 25,000 years ago. These two groups were Proto-Mongoloid and Ancient North Eurasian, apart from the Na-Dene and Eskimo-Aleut-speaking people who are also partly derived from Siberian populations, who entered at a later period into the northern part of America and Greenland. According to Wikipedia, genetically, Native Americans are most closely related to East Asian people, while approximately 37% of their ancestry is derived from ancient North Eurasians. According to Jennifer Raff, Native Americans descend from admixture between ancient North Eurasian populations and a daughter population of ancient East Asians, which lead to the emergence of the ancestral populations of Native Americans. However, the exact location where the admixture took place is unknown, and the migratory movements that united the two populations are a matter of debate. Ethnicity admixture. A 2014 study analyzed the genetic ancestry profiles of more than 150,000 customers of the DNA testing company 23andMe. The ethnicity and identity data for the reference panels obtained from Durand et al. Was logged based on the participants' self-identification as Native American, European, and African. The authors said that, on average, African Americans and white Americans had less than 1% of what these researchers consider Native American ancestry, although some variation was observed, with those living west of the Mississippi River being more likely to have greater than 1% of these indicators. Latinos averaged 18%, however. There was a significant amount of variation by geographic and ethnic origin. Latinos from the Southwest had considerably higher percentage results than those from the East Coast or Caribbean. Limitations of DNA research. Within the field of human population genetics, some genetic studies are considered more accurate than others. According to BRYC et al., studies using genotype data can reliably detect Native American ancestry at low proportions. However, other studies have given results that vary greatly, and their estimates of ancestry are poorly quantified. There is no DNA test that can reliably confirm Native American ancestry, and no DNA test can indicate tribal origin. While there are some genetic markers that are more common among Native Americans, these markers are also found in Asia and in other parts of the world. The commercial DNA companies that offer ethnicity tests do not have a large enough pool of North American DNA to provide reliable matches. The most popular companies have no indigenous North American DNA, and have stated that their matches are to Central Asian and South or Central American populations. Smaller companies may have a very small pool from one tribe who participated in a medical study. The exploitation of indigenous genetic material, like the theft of human remains, land and artifacts, has led to widespread distrust to outright boycotts of these companies by Native communities. Attempts by non-natives to racialize indigenous identity by DNA tests have been seen by indigenous people as insensitive at best, often racist, politically and financially motivated, and dangerous to the survival of indigenous cultures. What are your thoughts on my East Asian and Siberian results? Any thoughts on the ability to get bona fide Native American results from mainstream DNA companies? Do you all think that Siberian DNA holds the key to the origins of Native American ancestry? Leave a comment below. Also make sure to share this video and subscribe if you are not already. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.